Greetings, welcome back to Acadian Comics. I'm your host, James Fondren, and this is a new video here on the channel. I apologize for being on sort of a hiatus, but in the last video I did, I had an audio issue that I had to work through, and now I think I've got that sorted out. I always record a separate audio recording from the built-in camera. I have my own microphone set up. I use a Lewitt 440 Pure, and I find that I get optimal audio results with that. And a lot of people, they like to have good quality audio being fed in as they listen and watch a video, and my videos are all in 4K. So if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. But without further delay, let's jump right into it. So I did a poll recently, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, on what the next thing to be featured on the channel would be. And I closed it a little early, and I ended up doing the Sid Mead art book. And I look back at the poll, and people wanted to see the rough work of Frank Frazetta. So I think people often wonder, well, Frank Frazetta is known for his marvelous paintings and the Death Dealer painting, Conan the Barbarian, all that stuff. But like, what does his sketches look like? What kind of sketches does Frank Frazetta do or did, and what does that look like? So let's get right into it. And by the way I got this book from the Frank Frazetta Museum website. So there is a museum in Pennsylvania, and I believe there's one in Florida, but the museum store that I ordered from, I believe, is based in Pennsylvania in the Frazetta estate. And I am planning to go visit the Frank Frazetta Museum in Pennsylvania sometime this summer, probably in August, and I'll maybe do a live stream from there, do some video, and bring people in there so people can see what that museum is like. And I look forward to that. I'm very excited about it. But anyway, we're gonna get right into it. So the first opening border page here is Frank Frazetta with looks like a cane knife, like with a staff or something, he's in the woods. And as you can see here, here's the card I got, the Frank Frazetta Art Museum. So it says, thank you for your support. Thank you. Your support goes a long way in preserving Frank's original works. So Frank, it's Frazetta Museum, from the Frazettas. So FrazettaMuseum.com. There's even a QR code here, but it's not going to show. But if you just go to their website, well, there it is. There's a QR code. You might be able to scan that. I don't know. It's FrazettaMuseum.com. So, all right. And this is one of his paintings here on the card. So we'll put that to the side. And here we go. We get into rough work. And there are stories about this. I mean, there's the editors of this book. They talk about their process for the introduction, and their conversations with Frank Frazetta. Of course, he passed away in 2010, I believe. But yeah, this is his late work. I mean, this is his rough work here, as you can see. So, and these are his sketchbooks and some important information about Frank Frazetta. This is one of his sketches for Fire and Ice. Pretty cool. And we'll keep going. Great stuff. Yep. And I love the energy. I love the energy that he has. And I think for people who are up and coming, I know certainly my first year in the How to Draw Comics Academy, Clayton Barton's How to Draw Comics Academy, it was sort of like this demystifying process where it's like, well, how do you get to this finished I don't want to say product. No. How do you get to the finished artwork, and just see how these roughs are. It has energy. And then the biggest challenge is, well, how do I keep that energy? That's sort of my task, as an artist, try to keep that energy in the drawing. But these are his paintings too. And look at this man, this barbarian leaping here. I mean, this is just beautiful stuff. But here are his sketches here too. See? This was the original concept cover for Eerie magazine, number 23. And yeah, there's going to be some stuff where, yeah, there's going to be like, you know, nude sketches, dinosaurs, you name it. I'm not going to blank that out because I think that Frank Frazetta's work qualifies as art, and it's high art, actually, in my opinion. And so I'm not going to, I'm treating this book as if, you know, we're in a museum and we're looking at museum on the wall, right? I'm sorry, looking at artwork hanging in a museum on the wall. All right. See what happens when you don't upload videos and get out of practice. Now I love this. I love like the contrast here and the shading, and he's indicating like, some people call this like shadow mapping. He's indicating where shadow and shade is going to be in the sketch, just planning it out. So cool. Really nice stuff in here. And then the dinosaurs, the land that time forgot. Look at that. Look at the dinosaurs. T-Rex. And you can't say that this didn't go on to inspire, you know, other people like who made Jurassic Park, the filmmakers. You know, I don't know if it directly influenced Steven Spielberg, but I do know that filmmakers like Clint Eastwood and George Lucas visited Frank Frazetta, and I'm sure that they own some of his paintings too. There's a Joe Rogan interview with Robert Rodriguez, and I think he owns some Frank Frazetta stuff. But look at these roughs here. The energy is there. It's dynamic, and people want to get a sense of that. Look at that. You know, we've seen that painting before, right? So all his concept stuff is really good. Look, he's got notes here. What it is, it's like almost having a script for what you're going to do. You know? Brilliant stuff. Brilliant. Oh, this is a beautiful drawing right here. This is beautiful. And I think he just did this in ink. Straight to inks. But it's really nice to see his pencils, you know? Paperback novels. Sort of comic right here. It's almost, you can almost say comic panels, but yeah. Really good. I mean, Frazetta certainly was a master of rendering the female form. There's no question about that. Look at this. Look at that. Really something. And I know I'm zipping through this pretty quick. The Great Brute. The Great Brute. Yep. Nice. Conan the Usurper. His roughs for Conan the Usurper. It's, you know, what many teachers will tell you, many artists will say is, and I do believe this, and I know it's true, if you get that preliminary rough sketch, that mannequin model down, and you have an excellent pose, and you lay a good foundation. Look at that art. That is so cool. Beasts of Tarzan. And this one is John Carter, I think. Mars, Warlord of Mars, yeah. Some John Carter stuff there. If you get that foundation down, then, you know, you're in a good position for your rendering. But right now it's like, you know, I'm thinking about compositions, and I'm trying to get my roughs to be in really good shape, and then move from there. Look, some concepts for Battlestar Galactica from the original series from the 70s. Awesome. Like, that in and of itself is just great, you know? Brilliant stuff. Really good. I mean, this is just... Look how he's just messing with poses, and he just painted right over it. You know, he's got a couple of sketches in there, and, you know, it's like he's thumbnailing this stuff. Nice. King Kong. Oh, I really love his hatching on this. That is so cool. Yeah. When you look at a Frazetta sketch in this book, and you look at it, you can see the energy, how dynamic it is. Look at these like tentacles coming out, and this is like a death dealer. This is great. This is really good. Let me get it closer. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We were having like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, we had like a drawing jam, which is where at the How to Draw Comics Academy, it's just where Clayton will host, and members of the Academy can jump on, and there'll be a theme, and we'll draw it. And I had this book, and I said, y'all want to see this? And I just, I stopped drawing for a little while, and I just literally, not that what I was drawing was any good, because it wasn't, but I held this up to the camera, and I just showed everybody. I'm like, look at this, look at these Frazetta sketches. Look at his rough work, quote unquote, rough work. Even though this is a side profile view of the woman, it's got depth. It just has depth. I mean, it's just beautiful stuff. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Yep. More of his more thumbnail sketching here. Look at that. Look at this knight up here. Man, I would have loved to see him draw like some Flash Gordon or something. That would have been cool. I don't know if he did or not. I don't think he ever did. I don't know. But look at this. Look at these barbarians and the dinosaur. I mean, God, it's awesome. And then this, like, wow. That is so cool. This crucifixion scene. It comes from deep from within to draw something like that, really something. Yep. Beautiful. And we're coming towards the end of the book here. Coming towards the end. It's a tiger painting. Beautiful stuff. Again, so much energy. Look at this. So much energy in his work. There's a lot to glean and learn from this. Lost on Venus. This is freaking awesome. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. It's like, it is like Flash Gordon. It is, that sort of motif. This is cool. Yeah. He sells you on the face and obviously the anatomy and everything. It's just really cool to see. And look, here's the end. So that's the museum. This is the Frank Frazetta Museum, and I will be going there this summer. I got to figure out when, but it's in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Can't wait. So there you have it. That is the rough work. Concept art, doodles, and sketchbook drawings by Frank Frazetta. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also just bear in mind I have an eBay store. So some of the comics that I've reviewed or have featured on this channel are on eBay. I'm kind of behind in adding listings. I've had a couple sales, not a ton of sales, but I have my own printer. I ship in Gemini mailers, and it goes pretty. I print my own labels, get it to the post office. It's pretty easy. I'm kind of preparing myself for what fulfilling a campaign would look like, and what that experience would be for me. So that's kind of why I'm doing it, just to test it out and see what that would be like. So I'm getting a little bit of experience like on the fulfillment side if I was one day to do a comic book campaign, which is a long-term goal of mine. I don't know how far down the road that's going to be, but it is something I want to do. I do want to crowdfund a campaign and fulfill my own campaign for a comic. So, but I feel like I got to get up to snuff. I have to get to that level. So thank you for all of your support if you are subscribed to the channel. And, stay tuned if you want to see new videos and be made aware of new content. Please subscribe to the channel and make sure you're hitting the like button. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you right here next time at Acadian Comics.